Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and it's finally happened. We've been waiting for a long time, but Arcane Season 2 is here, and we are going to discuss. I guess this is
Act,
Act 1 of Part
act one.
2.
Yep. So it is. They released them in 3 acts. So first season was released in 3 acts, and so what was released yesterday in 3 episodes is Act One. We get Act Two next Saturday with uh, 3 episodes, and then the following Saturday is Act Three with the final 3 episodes.
Awesome. So we're going to discuss that today. Um, so we both enjoyed Arcane season one. We'll just get that out of the way. I think I talked you into watching it, if I recall.
Yeah. It was one of those things that was always on my list, but I never got around to it. And you said we should do this for the show, and I was like, yeah, this will be the time to watch it, I suppose. And then it turns out that this is possibly the greatest animated series that's ever been made.
It's really really good. Um, so the first season came out 2021. So
Yep.
it's been 3 years. So my I didn't remember everything that happened. It was a little hazy because it was 3 years ago. So I did try to watch some recap videos, and I kind of feel like I really need to go back and rewatch season one. Even those recap
Yeah.
videos were good, but they didn't quite fill in all the dots. So if I
I,
stumble on something where I'm like, wait, what did it? That's just my memory being goofy.
there was a brief recap at the beginning.
Hmm.
It was like a Netflix recap. It wasn't like a recap that's a part of the show.
Hmm.
Um, it just happens whenever you start season two. I think that did a well enough job
Yeah,
as
yeah, it
well.
was pretty good. Um, so really, where we left off was Jinx had accidentally put in quotes shot Silco and killed him. We're not sure if it was. I mean, it seemed to be an accident, but also you're kind of, did she do it on purpose? I don't know. But she then fired a rocket into the council member's chamber, and that is where we left off season one. So this
Hmm.
picks up right where we left off with the explosion and the aftermath. And they don't exactly say what happened to to how Jace survived, but I think that's going to be a big key to this season. It seems to be Mel has some type of secret. She started to glow right before the rocket hit, so it seems she has some type of armor or some type of secret that they're after.
I definitely had a theory about that too, but we'll get to that when we get into the first episode. But yeah, going into this, I guess expectations were relatively high, obviously, uh, and I mean it exceeded them. This was phenomenal. And I don't I here's the thing. Obviously animation gets better, right? That's how things work. But the animation of Arcane season 1 was so good that it was kind of impossible to imagine how it could get better, and it did get better. um there's and the way things are animated, there's so many different animation styles uh in these 3 episodes that it's almost like that. Do you remember the Echo versus Jinx fight from episode 6?
Yes.
It's almost like that was the practice run, and now we're going to get that for a whole season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they seemed more willing to experiment this time with the animation. Like they dabbled a little bit season one, and now that the show's a hit, they're like, okay, now we can
Yeah.
just do whatever we want.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the most expensive animated series of all time at this point, right?
Uh,
I read some reports about that.
Probably so. I don't know for sure, but that seems right.
Let
So yeah, let's while you're pulling that up, we'll get into episode one here. Give me one second.
let's see. Priciest animated series ever. The gaming giants' Hollywood goals were stymied by an inexperience that led to $250 million spent on 18 episodes of the Netflix show. That's the thing. Is there's definitely I don't want to say I'm gonna fight variety, and I'm not gonna say there was inexperience, um, but uh, I don't think this animation studio has ever done anything this large scale before.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So let's get into episode one. Sorry, I'm doing three things at once here. Um, so we pick up with the explosion, and we see that, like I was saying, that Jason survived the explosion. Caitlin's mom did not survive. Cassandra is dead,
Hmm.
and can I put an asterisk by that? That do you? Well, let's go ahead and discuss it. We're going. Okay, we're going to get into spoilers here. Some pretty
Yeah.
big spoilers. And we'll talk more about it in episode three. We know that someone is kind of manipulating events,
Hmm.
and well, I'll just go ahead and say it. That how you say her name? Ambessa is her name.
Mbessa, yeah. Mbessa or Mdessa.
We do see her like show up while they're trying to rescue people and stuff. I almost wonder if she found Cassandra alive and killed her in the rubble.
Oh,
Because we know that
yeah.
she is manipulating Caitlyn, and I almost wonder if either she's taking advantage of Cassandra dying in the explosion, or she has more to even to do it than we even know so far. It would not surprise me if it's revealed. Oh yeah, I killed your mom.
Hmm.
Just to, but I don't know. I don't. I have to go back and rewatch season one. I don't even know if Ambessa knew who Caitlyn was in season one, or if she's
Well,
just taking advantage of the situation.
well, I mean, her family is very um, famous.
Right.
She is one of the house. So I mean, like I'm sure she knew of Caitlyn.
Hmm. Yeah. So that crossed my mind, especially once we get to episode three and you start realizing, oh, she's kind of involved in everything. So we also lost two other council members. Let's see, I got to pull up my list of names here. Haskell and Bulbach both died, leaving Shula survived and Salo. And Salo's the one we see in most of these episodes. He's the guy in the
The wheelchair.
he's in out in a wheelchair. Yeah. And then Bessa's manipulating him quite a bit. So um, Victor has been heavily, heavily injured, and so Jace uses the hex tech to try to save him. And we saw last season that this stuff is very unpredictable, very dangerous because it absorbed Victor's lab assistant in
Mm-hmm.
season one.
Yep. Which, by the way, um, I think that's why Jace survived. I don't think it had anything to do with Mel.
Okay.
Um, um, because Victor was standing right next to him uh, in the explosion,
Mm-hmm.
and Victor at that point had already tampered with the arcane, and that's why he's walking around no problem. He didn't really need the cane or anything like that. So I think the fact that I don't know if Victor did it on purpose or if it just sort of happened, but I do think it was Victor that saved Jace.
Okay,
No.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that the hex stuff does weird stuff. We'll see that more in the second episode. Um, so yeah, so uh, Caitlyn takes all this very very hard because she had the chance to shoot Jinx and she didn't take the shot, and so now uh, her mother has died.
Hmm.
So we see the funeral in it, and I think this is the part where V gets drunk, if I'm recalling.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, no. What? So, what happens
Mm-hmm.
is, they've decided that, and Mel loses 2-1, because Mel says, this is the work of Jinx. We do not need to send an entire army down to Zaun. Uh, we just need to get Jinx, and um, with that, she loses 2-1. They're going to send an army down there. Caitlyn asks Vi to join the Enforcers, and the Enforcers killed Vi and Jinx's parents. So she rejects them, and goes and gets drunk with a homeless man, I guess,
Yeah,
who is a character. I guess we don't know his name. He's homeless man with shield.
yeah, and so I don't play these games, so I don't know like character names from the games. I don't know if this is a character from the game or original character. I
No,
have no idea.
no, he's not. He's not.
Okay, yeah, so they're kind of drinking together, and you start to realize that is he already a cop at this point, or is he just a homeless guy? I can't remember.
Oh, he's just a homeless guy.
Okay. Um, I thought I was thinking he was already a cop, but okay. Um, so she gets produced, or she gets a girl walks up to her, and we found her name is Maddie Nolan. She is a cop, and you think, oh, they're gonna arrest him for being drunk, but no, she's like, oh my gosh, you're V. She this kind of this hero worship happens here, and so you see that the V has a little bit of a
I,
following,
what I like is, are you Vi? It's like, what? How do you know? He's like, I mean, it's written on your face.
right? It's a good line, yeah.
But we find out that Vi joining Caitlyn with the Enforcers was such a big deal for Caitlyn that Caitlyn actually um, made a big hullabaloo at the station and threatened to withdraw funding if they didn't let Vi join.
Hmm.
Um, and after that, we get to something that we rarely do in shows like this. Well, no, I mean, we rarely do this in shows, anyways. With the way that season one ended, with a giant uh, tragedy, a tragedy, not even an Empire Strikes Back ending, but just like, um, I don't know, just a. It's not even a hopeful ending. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, and then we go on, and then we have another tragedy.
Right. I was thinking, I'm thinking like storytelling wise. Like I was like, okay, we hit our crescendo at the end of season one. Now this is going to be the downward motion, and right away we shot right back up. I was like, whoa, wait a second.
Be,
uh,
be, because one of the Chem Baroness from last season uh, decides to um, attack uh, the memoriam of the three council members, and there's a big giant fight in this town square. Basically, like, I guess, like, imagine if someone had attacked, like, I mean, be honest, it's like if someone attacked the 9/11 memoriam whenever they open that up, you know?
Right, right. It would have been like, God forbid something had happened to Trump and they were having the funeral for him, and then something, someone attacked that. It reminded me of the Batman, which we just watched, where we see that happen. They're having a funeral,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and Riddler just attacks right in the middle of the funeral. We're like, wait a second, whoa, whoa, whoa! It's like it's a sacred thing, and it's just something you
Hmm.
don't do, and
Hmm.
you're like crossing major lines for this to
Yeah.
happen.
Real quick, do you think that it was, because we'll get to this in episode 3 because we find out stuff about this attack in episode 3.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think that it was even apparent in episode 1, but I think it was supposed to be. Um, to you, was it apparent that Jace was the target?
No, I thought I don't even know if I caught that last night watching episode 3. I
So
I thought that Mel was the target, but I guess she wouldn't target her daughter.
no,
Uh,
no. So and the thing, so uh it wasn't I guess we'll go ahead and talk about, because it happens in episode 3. This is all Mbessa's doing. You know,
mhm.
well, here's the thing. I don't think she hired the Chem Baroness. I think uh she kind of goaded the Chem Baroness into attacking because she knew Jace was going to be there, and Jace is responsible for the death of her son. So I don't think I think this is just one of those things where, like, it wasn't the Chem Baroness being paid by Ambessa. I think Ambessa just kind of like baited her with.
And that would make sense, given Caitlyn and Jace's relationship. That if you take out Jace, you're gonna make Caitlyn more upset and more manipulable. Um,
Mhm,
so yeah, that would definitely make
mhm.
sense.
Yeah, but like I guess even then I didn't question it at the time, because like it was such a WTH moment. Uh, because like the attack just, plus it's that's how good of a surprise it was, is it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought that was Jinx in the crowd that was
So
wearing the hood,
yeah, that's what I thought
and
as well.
I was not expecting to be this Rennie character, and that was one of those things that all the recaps I watched left those characters out in that moment about her son dying. So it took me a second to go, oh, that's right, they killed the kid. I forgot all
Hmm.
about that. Yeah. So yeah, and I kept expecting what we say her name was Maddie. I kept expecting Maddie Nolan and her partner to die. I just kept thinking, oh yeah, they just introduced them to kill them off, and they didn't.
I definitely thought it was going to be one of those things where like, Maddie dies in Vi's arms, and that's like the catalyst that pushes her to join the Enforcers. Um, but that ended up being something completely different, because, as it turns out, uh, Caitlin puts together a task force, because obviously sending an army down there isn't going to help, because it's not about numbers, it's about technology. Uh,
Right.
and so, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were so hesitant to use the hex technology, and now after this attack, like, no, we're
Yeah,
using everything.
yeah. And so Jace goes ahead, um, builds Caitlin a hex tech rifle, fixes Vi's gauntlets, gives Drunken Man a shield, gives Abe Sapien. I don't remember what Abe Sapien has, actually. And then gives Maddie like some sort of. It looked like a grenade launcher, like a breach grenade launcher. And so she goes and interrupts the hidden council meeting because they've been forced underground. And I I love it whenever like the a-hole character gets put in their place. And so you have it's Sallow, right? That's his name.
I'm sorry, I was reading something on Reddit. What was your question?
His name's Sallow.
The one in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Whenever Sallow is like being all high and mighty, nose up in the air, and then Caitlin just says, "I'm a decorated officer. I am the head of my house, and you will treat me with respect."
Mm-hmm.
And like just completely shuts him down. And then that's whenever they reveal. And by the way, uh, the name of the episode is "Heavy as the Crown." For those who don't know, Linkin Park, who is recently made a comeback with a new singer, um, they joined forces with Riot to write a song called "Heavy as the Crown," which was kind of the theme song for Worlds, which Worlds ended uh, not not yesterday, but last Saturday. So every Saturday has kind of been a league Saturday for me.
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, and they do this really operatic, slow rendition of "Heavy as the Crown" for the reveal of this task force. Um, and I'm so excited for that to come out on the Arcane soundtrack. I've already looked it up. Like the full version will be on the Arcane soundtrack, and it is uh, Mike Shinoda and Emily Armstrong singing it. So super excited about that. And it was just such a cool. It was such a cool moment. Uh, Question: what do you think Caitlin was looking at during that montage? Because like she uses like her, a key um, or something like that.
Are you talking about the letter that she got, or what are you talking about?
So like whenever it was after the attack. Whenever she decides she's going to put together the task force, she uses some sort of key, and then like get it looked like schematics or plans or something like that from her mother.
Oh, yeah. So the dad gave her the key, and that was the information about the gray, wasn't it? About the vent system that her mother had invented to save the underworld from the gray, and now Caitlin's using it to against the underworlders.
Gotcha. I didn't catch that completely, but yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Just to correct something real quick, because I was reading on Reddit, because I was like, surely someone knows the name of the homeless guy. They don't know the name either, but he was already one of the cops before that. He's wearing the vest when he's homeless and laying there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So he's just a drunk cop. So, all right. So yeah, I think then at the end they kind of tease a little bit. We won't talk about the little end scenes until the end. I think the lab stuff with the wolves and all that. We'll talk about that at the end.
I mean,
Uh,
at this point, like that's all we have to say is there's a scene that involves at the end of the episode. There's like a little. It's almost if this was a Marvel show, this would be the post credit scene.
mhm.
Um can I? And I'll go ahead and just straight up be honest. Um, Post credit scenes don't belong in TV shows. um, and Marvel tends to do them all the time. Uh, and they've even done it with Star Wars.
I,
Um,
I'm okay with them for season finales, but that's about it.
I don't even know if I'm okay with it for season finales because, like, back in the day, you didn't. There weren't even credits. It was like
Yeah,
next up we have The Office while the credits are going. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of post credit scenes. So what we have here, which is a sharp cut to black followed by a fade in to a mysterious scene involving wolves um, and poison. I like doing it that way. Let's do it like that from now on.
Yeah, yeah. I almost feel like on Netflix shows when you pick it, there should just be a little thing at the bottom that says, "By the way, there is a post credit scene."
Yeah,
So yeah.
I
Well,
should
we've been
I should
dancing around it, but yeah, we know the wolf is
yeah,
Vander.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I you know what? I'm almost wondering, and I was gonna wait until we got there, but I'm almost wondering. Uh, Actually, no, I'm not almost wondering. This is more me playing devil's advocate because I do think that Vander is going to be Warwick.
Mm,
Um, I am wondering if that is like a red herring. I don't actually think that. I'm definitely on board with
no,
everyone else that it's Vander, but like, could it be a red herring?
I don't think so because most of your audience has never played the games. They don't know who Warwick is. I You would be trying to do a red herring on like a fourth of your audience or a fraction of your
Yeah,
audience. It's bad writing. Like Walking Dead used to do that type of stuff, and I was like,
yeah,
it's bad. Don't do that.
right, right. Um, but yeah, so uh, and what I did, did you watch all three episodes kind of like at once, like as if it was a movie?
I took a break between episode one and episode two because I had to go do some stuff. So
That's where I'm at. Because I took I wanted to take breaks between each episode. Uh, because this is still yeah that like I said, I was just playing devil's advocate, just putting that forward. But I mean, a even though it's very callable, an audience member should be rewarded for paying attention.
yes,
Um, and but yeah, anyway, yeah, so this is still a TV show, and so I need to be able to differentiate each episode, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh
So let's
yeah.
get into episode two. It seemed like episode one was all about the overworld, and episode two kind of shifts now.
Hmm.
Uh,
To Zahn.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are seeing that we kind of get a final scene with Silco and Jinx at the beginning.
Hmm.
There's there's part of me that wants Silco to still be alive, but I understand he's dead. So
Yeah.
I really like him as
Yeah.
a villain, and
it so I and I'll be honest, so there's always been comparisons between Jinx and Harley Quinn, and we even made the comparison between Silco and the Joker last season. The underwater scene. I mean, that could have just been Harley and the Joker. You would change nothing, and it would have been like a scene from one of the newer Batman shows, or one of maybe like a Batman movie.
yeah, and it's referencing back to or season one where gosh, always, Vander was choking Silco under the water, and you kind of see the birth of Silco. And
Hmm.
also, there's a Silco kind of baptizes Jinx in season one, also. So it was a good scene for the goodbye sequence for Silco.
Hmm. Yep.
We got another question from the chat. What do you guys think about Jinx and Isha's relationship? So Isha's the little orphan boy or girl? I'm not sure
Little a girl. Yeah, it was a girl.
because I thought it was a girl too, and then Wikipedia was calling it a boy, and I got confused. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I thought it was a girl too, and then they kept saying he on the Wikipedia. So I was like, okay. Uh, it seems to she seems to me to remember resemble Vi as a kid. She looks a lot like Vi,
I
and
can see that. Yeah.
so I think there's like this. It's like Jinx. Jinx is all screwed up in the head. And I think Jinx is kind of seeing her as the sister she once had is
Right.
how
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but and then the little girl Isha is, she's trying to survive, and she's hero worshiping Jinx.
Hmm.
So that's the relationship I see so far, and I'll be curious that we'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and ask this: do you think Jinx is going to have a moment by the end of this where she kind of has a heroic moment, a self-sacrifice moment.
Um, perhaps.
Because to me, it feels like Caitlyn's becoming the villain, and I could see Jinx becoming more of a hero as the series goes on. But that's just the way I'm kind of viewing it right now.
At this point, I'll be honest, I don't know who's gonna end up being like the main villain, because I you can point towards Ambessa.
Hmm.
Um, you can you
I mean,
can
we don't know who the Black Rose
yeah,
group
you can
is, and
point
we'll
to
talk about them in a minute.
yeah.
And
I and there's also like does it happen in episode 2 or episode 3? But Victor could end up being a villainous character.
Victor's story is mostly episode two.
Episode 2, okay.
Yeah,
And the only reason I say that is because anytime any time that someone goes around and starts healing people, and then people start worshiping them as a god, and their name is not Jesus,
yeah.
I'm immediately like, oh, this person might end up being a villain, which and I'm trying to keep myself away from the games too much, but uh, Victor is definitely more of a villainous character in the games, so that might be kind of a way they're going. But uh, Vi is also changed a lot, because Vi in the games is pretty much all about police brutality. She's all for it, and that's
Hmm.
definitely not her here.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree with Lily here. With the kid protecting her, I think she had that moment related to the kid. Caitlyn's set up for a dark path, and I think she'll go corrupt. Yeah, I definitely think that's the way things are heading right now. Especially with Ambessa manipulating Caitlyn, I think,
Mm,
yeah, and it's. I think that they gave us a little bit of the relationship, the shipping relationship that a lot of people wanted between Vi and Caitlyn, and now I think they're just going to tear it completely apart.
yes,
They gave
yes.
us that moment, and now it's like, okay, now you're going to see Caitlyn just completely go down this other path.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder, like, because Mbess is that type of character. He's a weird cyborg Jesus now. Yes, yes, he is. Um, it almost makes me, because Mbess is the type of character who you're building up to see them get their just desserts, uh, and now you just got to wonder who's going to do it, because it could be Caitlyn.
But
Uh,
it would not surprise you if the show makes us feel bad for Ambessa at some point about because her son died, and we know a little bit of the details, but we don't know all the details.
right, right.
So this
Uh,
show, all the characters are very complex. I could definitely,
mhm,
we have a
yeah.
lot of questions. Who are the protagonists? Who are the antagonists? I kind of feel like Jinx is the protagonist most of the time. So,
Right. No, I think that the protagonist at this point will always be Vi,
mhm.
because Vi is the one who is trying to do right by the individuals that she cares about. You've got people like Caitlyn, you've got people like Mel and uh, uh, Jace, who are trying to do right by the uh, the people of Piltover. They're worried about the bigger picture in Piltover, and then you've got uh, the underground, I guess Zonite mafia, who are more concerned about power and keeping Zon powerful. But I don't think that Vi really cares about either of the um, civilizations. She just cares about her sister. She cares about Jace. She cares about Caitlyn. Um, and she's just trying to do her best to keep her individual loved ones safe. So I will think that Vi is definitely the main character over the course of both of these seasons.
So we see Victor wake up and he goes down and to the underworld. He tells Jace he's leaving, and we see him.
Oh, speaking of which, the reason he leaves is because they swore that they'd never use hex tech as weapons, and pretty much as soon as Victor wakes up, he finds out, yeah, we used hex tech as weapons. Uh, and so, and I think it's a great scene where Jace is like, my best friend is about to die. What do you expect me to do?
Mhm.
And then Victor leaves. I do want to point out one thing. This is kind of unrelated, but it's very similar. Um, Victor being encased in the Arcane. I can't remember what they call it.
It's like a
Um,
hex cube or something. I
yeah,
can't. Yeah, it was
yeah.
something. Yeah.
But Victor being encased in that really reminded me of Harry Osborn in the Insomniac Spider-Man games, being encased in the symbiote to keep him alive. So I think it's very similar to that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're going somewhere similar to that in like a storytelling way as well.
Yeah, yeah, and so we see him healing some of the people that are. What was it? An addiction season one? I can't remember what they had in season
They
one.
they had a shimmer addiction.
Yeah,
The shimmer is like the drug of Zon,
yeah, it was
essentially.
kind of like a steroid drug that could mutate you and all that. Yeah, and Silco was doing all kinds of experiments on people down there and stuff. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. So the question is Victor healing them? Because in season one, he absorbed the lab assistant, and he's kind of hallucinating and seeing her. And I don't know if he's really seeing her or not. um, so I don't
What?
know if he's actually healing them or draining their life energy. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I don't think he's actually seeing her because whenever he does it, whatever it is he is seeing gives like a nod of approval and a smile,
Hmm.
and I'm like, that's that. Uh, you know, a hallucination giving you a smile and nod of approval. That just sets off the alarms in my head.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit when they get to the Hex Vault. It almost seems like there's two different worlds that are kind of merging back and forth. Like there's a magic world and the real world. And
Yeah, we
so
we definitely need to talk about that because I have no clue what was happening.
yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering like if there's like a spirit world and that's what's kind of crossing over and that's what he's seeing is her or it's just a hallucination. I don't know. The show has not made that clear yet. Um, let's see what else he's do. Oh, so we're seeing the infighting uh, in episode two with all the different. Now that Silco's dead, it didn't even
Mhm.
occur to me there's gonna be this huge power struggle down
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh, that's if I could bring it back to Insomniac Spider-Man, the first game, that's kind of what it's about because you open the game with finally arresting Kingpin,
Hmm.
and he says there's going to be a power vacuum. It's only going to get worse from here because I was keeping them all in line. And you start to notice, oh, it was Silco that was keeping all these people in line.
Right. Yeah. So season one, he was using the shimmer to experiment on himself, and that's when I think the lab assistant. That's when the bad like when he started mixing that with the hex stuff. That's when all the bad stuff started happening. If I'm recalling right, it's been 3 years since I saw season one. So
I tried to catch up as much as possible this week, but honestly, Saturday came a lot faster than I thought it would.
yes, yes, it did. So we see this guy named I have it written down. Smeech is his name. This like he's like a rat cyborg.
Yeah.
Kim Baron, and he's one of the Zon guys that's fighting for the Silco's throne, I guess you want to say.
Yep. And he's the one who I mean, I'll be honest, if the people of Piltover listen to Mel and the people of Zon listen to Smeech, none of this would happen because Mel's like, all we need is Jinx and then we're good. And then Smeech says, we just need to give them Jinx and we're good.
And that's what was happening in season one. They were trying to convince Silco to turn over Jinx in season one, and this will all be over. So yeah, there's some people that just want, deal with Jinx and it's over with, and there's other people that are like, no, we want to start war. We're going to use this to our advantage. So
Yeah.
definitely, I really love the animation of this. I love the way Smeech moves his robot
Oh,
body.
it was great. It was great.
It's really cool the way he moves around and stuff. Um, we also see Savica, is I think is her name. She's Silco's second.
Sevica. Sevica.
Savica. Uh, I had forgotten about this character. She had the cyborg arm, and she had lost.
Yep.
I think Vi had destroyed the
Yep.
cyborg arm, if I'm recalling.
Yeah.
And she's kind of lost. She doesn't know what to do now that Silco's gone.
Mm.
And she has a run in with Jinx, and Jinx decides to build her a new robot arm, and it's really cool.
It's the best. It's the best. Because the way Jinx works, she can't just build her a useful robot arm. No, it can only be useful sometimes.
um, for those who read Marvel comics right now, they're trying to make Mary Jane into a hero known as Jackpot, and she has like a similar thing. It's really lame, but here it really works. It's really cool.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of so Crisis Core, the Final Fantasy VII prequel that came out on the PlayStation Portable back in like 2007 or something. It had a similar thing where like you're fighting like in like an action game,
Mm-hmm.
and up in the corner there's just a slot machine going, and
Yeah.
that I was like, can you are you going to heal yourself? No. Are you going to it's super funny. This is the only time I've ever seen it make sense because Jinx is insane.
Right, yeah. Who would build something like this? An insane person. But you're a weapon that randomly works. It's
Yeah.
it's great. And what's also great is we don't quite see everything the arm does. Like it cuts away. We don't
Yeah.
see everything. So that's really
Yeah.
fun.
Which I had this this thing in my head because there was a lot of mauling happening in that scene that we didn't actually see, and I'm like, I bet you there's something that Warwick does is gonna be similar to this.
We also saw the Hushmen. I can't remember if they were in season one. I'm sure they were. They were pretty cool.
Mhm.
And we also meet the little orphan. We think it's a girl, but it might be a boy, Isha. And it seems like Jinx is starting to form, like, not willingly, but starting to form like a team, or at least
Mhm.
followers.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is interesting because episode one is definitely what we have is a time of recovery for both Zahn and Piltover, and in that time, Vi and Caitlin put together their task force, and then Jinx kind of has her own team in episode two, and then in episode three is whenever those bump heads.
yeah, so we'll kind of jump a little bit into episode three because they kind of overlap. Uh, Caitlin unleashes the gray down into Zon, into the underworld. And apparently, from what I gathered, because this kind of some of the exposition goes by pretty quick in the show, um, but apparently Caitlyn's mother had built a vent system to save the underworld from the Gray, and now Caitlyn's using it for the opposite. She's releasing the Gray back into the underworld to try to flush out Jinx.
No, that's not how I took it. How I took it was, uh, Jinx's plan was to release the Gray all over Piltover. Vi and Caitlyn find out, and then they go after her. That's how I took it.
I don't think you're right.
Okay.
Well, I'll have to go back and watch that opening scene where it shows them, like, there's this weird animation about them using it, and we see it in episode 2 where Smeech's sidekick, they go into the den and it's been flooded with the smoke, and they or the Gray, and they even use the Gray on Jinx's base. Um, so yeah, I took it that it's Caitlyn and them that are using the Gray, and I don't know if Jinx had planned it or it's just that her weapons went off when all the colored Gray shoots up to the overworld. But we'll get to that here in a minute. Um, but yeah, this all leads up to a pretty sick fight between Vi and Jinx, which I really enjoyed.
Yes. Yes. Um, and then, uh, Sevica jumps in the fight as well.
Yeah, we keep getting Caitlyn almost taking these shots, and little things keep happening. Either it's not Jinx, like it's almost like a funhouse mirror, type situation where she thinks she's shooting
Mm,
at Jinx as just reflection.
which is
We've also
another. That's another Joker thing.
yes, yeah, definitely. Um, and at first, I think they're just dealing with Jinx, but also Isha and Sevica are also there, so they're dealing with all of them. Um, we see Jinx lose a finger here,
Hmm.
and Caitlyn gets another chance to shoot the shot, but Isha jumps in the way, and this is where uh, Vi kind of snaps out. Was like, "Whoa, what are we doing here? There's a kid. We gotta save the kid." And Caitlyn's not having it. She just wants to kill Jinx.
Yeah.
So we're seeing more and more of that, and you see it in the opening credits where Caitlyn's got her hands over her face and it's like making like this crazy crown in the shadows, and like you see that the corruption's taking over her, and we really start to see that here. Um, and we're starting to see that the relationship between Vi and Caitlyn is falling apart. Um, well, we get a moment where they're coming together, then they get pulled apart by this disagreement over what to do with Jinx. There's a lot about the it. I was watching some other videos about the Easter eggs. There's a wind goddess that's on a lot of the paintings down there, um, and that's all about I think it's like it's kind of references to Caitlyn's mom, Cassandra, being the one that got rid of the Gray down in the sewers and stuff. I think is how I took that.
Hmm.
So then when Sevica, or however you say her name, she blows up the painting of Caitlyn's mom, and then all heck breaks loose.
Yeah, and it so from what I'm seeing, I went back and I'm kind of going through episode 3 now. I think we were both right where the intention of the task force was to use the Gray on uh, the Zonites, um, but that last room that Jinx and Sevica were fighting Vi and Caitlyn in,
Mm-hmm.
that was actually their doing because
Yeah,
uh,
they had sabotaged something in there, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, and I just lost my train. I thought I was about to say about the gray. Uh, oh, some people in Zon, the older people are used to the gray. Like they'll cough and they're fine. Like we see Smeech, he's kind of okay with it, and and then others are not. Like the younger people in Zon have never encountered the gray before. It hits them way worse, and it also hits the was it Piltover is the name of the
Mhm.
town. It
Yep.
hits them harder too because they're not used to the gray.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so we see all this happening, but let's shift gears to Jace and Echo, and what is that little scamp's name? What is this?
Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger. Thank you. Uh, they've noticed that the Heimerdinger and Echo have noticed that their tree, where the fireflies live underground, is um, almost something's poisoning it. Uh,
Hmm.
and so they break into Heimerdinger's old lab and run into Jace, trying to figure out what's going on. And so they go down to the Hex Vault, and
Well, and I believe so. Before they go down to the Hex Vault, Jace actually takes a look, and I love the conversation between Jace and Echo. Him trying to explain uh, like how there are forms of reaction and communication that aren't verbal. I really enjoyed all that, and it turns out that uh, and this is why they're going down to the Hex Vault to verify this theory that their use of hex tech is causing this poisoning of the tree.
yes, the pipes run right through the underground, and it's like the water where the trees coming from and everything. Yeah, they are affecting it definitely. Um, so this in turn, like they see some type of Heimerdinger sees something weird down there, and he goes to touch it, and it starts interacting with all the hex tech that's being used everywhere. And so it starts affecting the fight that's going on with Jinx and Vi and everybody. And it almost reminded me of Into the Spider Verse. You know, when the
Yes.
realities would glitch.
Yep.
That's what seemed to me what was happening.
And so that's where I'm not sure what it is because I know you said that it was about like the pipes affecting the tree. If it's the pipes affecting the tree, then everything that happened there was just stylistic. But what if all of that was actually happening, and then them using the hex tech is like actually hurting the tree, just like their use of the hex tech, and it has nothing to do with the pipes under the tree. Um, and so then all the glitches happening, uh, all the glitches happening were actually happening, and it wasn't just a stylistic choice.
Yeah, it almost seemed like I don't know. It's hard to explain what was happening. Like I didn't know if they were going to just all stop working or if it was tapping into another magical world because they were talking about the different runes, the natural runes, and all that. So I'm just not 100% sure, and I'm sure we'll get an explanation as it goes on.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing we need to talk about is Ambessa gets approached by let's see, I wrote it down, a merchant. Where did I write it down?
I don't remember what her name was, but she works for the Black Rose.
Amara, a merchant. First or something has some type of magical powers, and she sets a trap for Ambessa and Ambessa's right hand man, whose name I don't know. Um, and they end up breaking out of it and kill. Well, they think they kill Amara. I don't think they killed Amara. They stab her, and you see the rose crumbling, the black rose. Um, so there's some other group involved, and they want something that Ambessa has.
Yeah, and that's the thing because Ambessa only appeared in the last episode of last season. Uh, and so and that's the interesting thing. She has such a presence that I feel like she's been here longer than she actually
Yeah, I
has.
was thinking she'd been on more episodes, but I guess not.
No, she was only in the last episode.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm wondering if this Black Rose group had something to do with the death of Ambessa's son. And I'm wondering, and they may have said what happened to the son in season one. I don't remember.
No, so they keep alluding to a death, but they've never straight up said death. So I wonder if like Ambessa and Mel think it's a death, but then it turns out that it wasn't a death.
Could be. I know they released a music video about their people, and like when I was watching it, it didn't make like I didn't know who the characters were, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm sure once the season's over, the music video will make a whole lot more sense.
Mm,
Um, yeah, so I'm wondering if they're after the armor or whatever it is that Mal has that helped her survive the blast, because she starts glowing before the blast at the beginning of the episode
yeah.
goes off. Um, but Mal starts figuring out what Ambessa's up to, and then Mal gets abducted by the Black Rose.
Yeah.
So, uh, and with her out of the way, though, this also works for Ambessa because now, without her daughter in the way, and now she can manipulate Caitlyn more. Now she can start making her moves,
Yeah.
and that's where we end episode 3. Is she is appointing a general.
For martial law.
Yeah, and we think it's going to be Sallow, and it's not. She appoints Caitlyn, and it's kind of a creepy scene where everybody's beating their chest, and it's getting louder and louder, and finally Caitlyn joins in. You're like, oh, this is
Hmm.
not going to be good.
Yeah. And last we see Vi is like I said, Vi is the main character. She just wants to make sure that all of her loved ones are safe. Caitlyn berates her, hits her, and leaves, and Vi is just sitting on the ground crying.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's how, now that I'm thinking about it, that's how episode 3 ended in season 1, with
Mm,
Jinx sitting there crying and Vi leaving,
yep,
and now it's Caitlyn leaving and Vi is the one crying.
yep.
That's interesting. Um, we then get another shot of Singed, or I think it's his name, or Singed.
Singed, yep,
Yeah, the
singed.
mad scientist guy who was doing some work for Silco, I think it was,
Yep.
and he has a beating heart there. He has wolves there. It seems like he has.
It looks like a large beating heart, by the way.
Yeah, I assume it's a, a wolf heart or some. I'm not sure, but again, spoilers. We talked about it earlier. It's Vander that he's experimenting
Yeah.
on.
What? It doesn't. Like I said, I'm with everyone where I think it's Vander. Nothing has pointed to Vander as of yet.
I feel
Um,
like season 1 there was like a
yeah,
hint, but
yeah. Season one, I think there was a hint, but in this episode, we just see hanging from the ceiling a giant werewolf.
and I think that's an image directly out of the game, if I recall.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, so yeah, did you see the preview for the upcoming episodes that they played after that?
No, I didn't.
Do you want me to reveal some of the stuff that's shown, or
no, I'd rather not. Because
okay,
the interesting thing, uh, is at least from what I can tell, everything that they showed in that first Arcane season 2 trailer was from these 3 episodes, and so moving forward, I don't think I've seen any footage from episode 4
okay?
onwards at this point.
Because if you let Netflix keep playing, like during the credits, it switches to the trailer for the next episodes, and it just starts showing you what's coming up next on the next episodes.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
well, I mean, honestly, I'd rather not know
okay,
because I mean, with going from Act 1 from season 1 to Act 2 of season 1 was a giant was a giant time skip. If there's a time skip, I definitely want to be surprised by that.
Okay, then I will not say anything out there. But if any of the viewers want to see that, there is a trailer for the next batch of episodes, and it's pretty cool. um, yeah, so I will not say anything about that then, which means I can't really speculate about what's going to happen next because I kind of know some things that are going to happen next. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, definitely I keep an eye on the little kid that's with Jinx and all that, and what's going on down there.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to go on with the wolf that we were pretty sure is Vander. I'm curious, will it have its memories or not, or if they'll just know, oh, that's our dad we're fighting, and you know, and maybe that's gonna be the thing that brings Jinx and Vi
Hmm.
together. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be some sort of um I, I don't know exactly what the storytelling device is called, um, but it's where people thought that Game of Thrones was going with the Night King. It didn't end up going that way, but just like I guess it's a greater evil. I guess is the storytelling device
Hmm.
where the whole show you're worried about. Uh, 2 to 5 civilizations that have been fighting over the course of the entire show are finally brought together um, to work together because of a greater evil. And that greater evil could perhaps be Singe with Warwick. It could be the Black Rose. It could be um,
And
uh,
Bessa,
uh, it could be Ambessa, or it could be Victor starting a cult.
yeah, yeah. I think storytelling wise, the show started with Vi and Jinx trying to save Vander, and maybe that's how the show ends. Them trying to save
Yeah,
Vander again.
yeah.
Loops back around.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Right, right. Um, yeah. So I was super excited. I enjoyed this. I think it's only going to get better from here.
Question. Question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that comparing Act One of Season Two to Act One of Season One, do you think this was a better Act One?
I really liked Act One of Season One. That episode where it all goes to heck with
Yeah.
Jinx and everything, and the scene where uh, Vi leaves Jinx crying in the street and Silco
Hmm.
finds her. I I think I like that better than this. Not saying
Yeah.
this is bad. I just
Hmm.
that scene really stuck with me,
Hmm.
and watching Vi and Jinx's friends all die, realizing, oh, this show has some
Hmm.
serious
Yeah.
stakes.
I theorize by the end of this, we won't even view this as season one and season two. I think this is just going to be an 18 episode masterpiece.
I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping they stick the landing. That would be awesome. Cool. Was there anything else you want to discuss, or?
No, no. I'm just super psyched for what's to come. Um, the only show that I can think of that even comes close to comparing to this, another video game or another show based on a video game, another animated show, another Netflix show, kind of makes me want more Edge Runners. um,
Yeah, but that ending was so good.
yeah, yeah.
Um, another great anime, definitely not for kids. That I saw was Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix. I really enjoy. I'm looking forward to season 2. So that would be the only show I could think of that's even close to this. So
Yeah, yeah. Man, Netflix they struggle on a lot of stuff, but man, they got animation on lock.
yeah, yeah. Just some really great stuff, and it's interesting because in most of the other corners of the animation world, animation seems to be dying, and Netflix is just charging ahead, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So We do this show every Sunday at 4 Eastern. And so the next 2 weeks we'll be hitting up with part two and part three. So we hope you all will join us. But until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
We'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond. See ya.
See ya.